Hi, welcome to The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, a Let's Play with Link6616, my awakening as a Let's Player. This episode is focusing on the third dungeon, of course, and is probably, well, not my favourite dungeon. I think it's a good example of how to design a good dungeon. So to start with, let's go to the right here. I think this is a really nice set piece to start with. Well, set piece is probably the wrong word, but it's clearly something that you can't get right now. You've seen it before, but doesn't clearly indicate what the tool you're going to receive is. But you do get an idea of what it could be. So, with that done, let's go forwards. I also like this too because we do get to introduce to an enemy which appears in this dungeon right away, as opposed to having to wait longer. And we get our first key. Being the key cavern, we get an awful lot of keys, so keep that in mind. Right, and here we get a little bit of foreshadowing. As you can see to the left, we get these strange objects that we haven't yet seen in a long narrow corridor. The long narrow corridor itself doesn't matter too much, although it does relate tangentially to the item we're getting. So it's important not to entirely discount those yet. That's not relevant right now. And again, we have another puzzle, which we can't actually accomplish yet, because we can't get up there. Which means that either those objects need to go, or there's some way that we can get to it from the above screen. Which we can't. So, going down. And following on the theme with Key Cavern, we have a room with 4 keys. Now, I'm not sure how many keys have been in our previous dungeons, but I think that it's only been about 4 or 5 at most, and here we have 4 to use right away. Each one of these rooms gets us a fresh key, so we don't actually have to do them all, so I'm just going to do the top one. And let's just get some extra hearts, and flip the switch. So then we can go back up, get our beautiful stone beak. Not that we're going to actually use the stone beak, but it's always nifty to have. And let us go to this room here after we kill up all the monsters. This is probably just a map or a compass, but I can't quite remember, so let's find out together. Map! Now, I've commented previously that in this particular game, maps don't actually have set floors in the same way that previous Zelda games do, so if we press start right now, we can see that I'm over to the left here, going through the stairs. We can see that I'm now on the right side of the map, so they sort of create floors, but not in the same way you may traditionally have with Zelda games. So as I said, both these 2 rooms will give us additional keys, but they won't actually let us really make any progress, so let's not worry about them. It's kind of worth admiring just how much this dungeon kind of sticks to what is ultimately a pretty pathetic theme. I mean, keys make it sound a kind of interesting, but ultimately they're just locked doors. Well, the keys aren't locked doors, but the keys unlock locked doors. Rightio then, and let's go across here and fight our mini-boss. And I'm not doing very well, despite having just practiced this before. That's better. Once you get them tucked into a corner or a wall, it's significantly easier to actually get them, because you obviously don't have to aim for their mouth anymore. However, trapping them in a loop like that is a pretty efficient way to get things done. So, let's get our magical item for the dungeon. The Pegasus Boots. I think Pegasus Boots are actually a pretty cool item overall for the Zelda games. And in this one, you can actually move as you charge up, which ultimately doesn't make much difference, but it feels a lot nicer than having to stand in place like you do in Link to the Past. Right, so let's go this way. I'm not really going very well against these, am I? That's better. Now, I think the idea is to use the Pegasus Boots to charge towards them so they can't vanish in time, but that didn't occur to me then. And let's avoid having to do the second one, as we're running very low on life, and we don't want to have to die yet. Because I am having to finish this without dying once. Not for any real reason, although there is a nice little cutscene at the end, but it feels a little bit more professional if I don't. Let's get our... oh, rupees. A chest that doesn't have a key in it. So I particularly like this moment, because here we see a room which has no way to get in, although you can see just faintly the cracks in the wall on the right, which indicates this room has a crack. If you'd normally progress through here, you wouldn't have noticed that, and you wouldn't have known to even look. But there's nothing really up here, but there was no reason to not explore in this direction either. I just think giving that little subtle hint about what you can do is a really good indication that they've put a lot of effort into making dungeon design work. And a piece of power, because when we're this powerful, we obviously need even more power. But let's go back to the start of the dungeon for a moment. And hope there's some hearts here. No, there isn't. Oh well. Now, using our Pegasus Boots, we have speed to beat this thing. Oops. Well, good thing I have that secret medicine. So, with our key in place... Now, we already have enough keys to finish this dungeon. But since I went and set up that whole thing earlier with this corridor, I might as well follow through with it. And that's really it. That remains set though. For some reason, there's a little bit of inconsistency there in that it's something that just doesn't respawn, which I think is not really very good design, because inconsistency is really not what you ever want to implement in your game. But for the sake of this puzzle, it works. Not that 200 rupees have any use to me at this point, because I'm not really spending much money. Anyway, we do, however, still need the nightmare key, which we can get through here. Now, if you're actually going to solve that properly, I do believe you have two options. You can either interpret this as an arrow, and the owl will explain something along those lines, or you can notice this convenient gap between what looks like it could be a door. And that's our nightmare key. I recalled this dungeon being a little bit more complex than it ended up being. Not that we're finished quite yet, but we are pretty much there. Gee, I'm not going very well. And sword. Feather. Right, let's finish the key dungeon by using all those keys. One key. 2 key. Actually, let's go back a smidgen. I probably need a little bit more life. I really should be a little bit more careful when playing this, but I suppose I'm used to playing with the blue clothes at this point, which means I take half damage. But at the same time, red clothes make the game a lot faster to play through, simply because you're doing a few less hits on every single thing. Radio. Oh, I don't have enough keys. I wonder what key I missed. This is a bit embarrassing, isn't it? Wait, of course I know. The one I pointed out that it foreshadowed really well a bit earlier. Let's go up here. These bomb things. Now, I don't think they appear that frequently in other dungeons, which is why I think it's kind of important they establish them right at the start in a very optional capacity. Right. You got a Guardian Acorn. It will reduce the damage you take by half. And we have a compass, which should probably be your first move in a cavern called the Key Cavern. But, let's check this wall. Clang, clang. Oh, since I've never actually checked another wall, I don't think, in this game so far. That's what a wall normally sounds like. That's what a weak wall sounds like. And let's use the power bracelet to break open this wall, of course. And kill the things. And our final key. Let's quickly take a boost to speed up things just a little. There are points where I wish some rooms would just stay solved. I never quite understood the logic of why some of the rooms stay solved and others don't. It's really kind of silly, maybe? I'm sure there's some logic. And we have spent a long time in powered up states here. It's really quite nice, except for the fact that I don't really need them especially. I never quite get that one right. I always press the button a little bit too early. We're gonna need a sword. And up there, through him. And those are really, really strange shapes. I don't know exactly what they're supposed to be. Right. Let's get our final key. Now I believe this key is for completionists, because let's pause for a moment. If you remember that room with the 4 keys, each one giving us a one thing, this is so that the completionist can go, I must have missed something, I'm gonna finish that. Which I guess is nice, although for me, it just means that I have an extra key lying around in my inventory. Which for Link must be really awkward, because I've had extra keys for, well, only one dungeon actually, the previous one. But still, they add up over time. I can't find him. Let's try ramming into a wall, because that solves all problems. Slash the thing. Run into the thing to make a separation. And then run again. I'm very, very skilled, aren't I? Got all my timing down and everything. The reason why I'm jumping is to prevent... They're already dead? The reason why I was jumping was to prevent their landing causing me to be stunned for a moment, which you never really want, especially if you don't have any secret medicine and have no plans of dying. Well, that's us the conch bell. Conch bell? Sea Lily's bell. That's right, the last one was the conscious horn or whatever. Well... And that is the end of this episode. Next week, or next episode, the waterfall. It is hidden in the waterfall. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope that the next one is equally good, and that I somehow maintain better speaking patterns, as I seem to be getting worse. Bye!